Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the owner and the managing editor of the Maxfield Report. This is our global market recap for the week ending March the 20th. Last week started out with a bit of a mixed bag of offers from Packers. Many of the Packers held true to what they were telling people at the end of last week that they would not offer. The Packers who did offer continue to have only a limited number of selections that they were willing to trade, and they were also limiting the load counts on those selections. As far as asking prices, they were anywhere from $2 to $5 higher than the last week's traded levels, which were already up $2 to $5. Interest at the start of the week, a lot of claims that there was plenty of unsolicited bids, which Packers didn't seem too interested in countering, while people trying to bid on items offered were reported to be bidding lower than asking prices, and Packers refusing to even negotiate prices, insisting on full asking prices. So overall, a really strong number of loads bid. As far as business concluded, my feel after talking to a number of people last week, there probably wasn't as many hides sold as the last couple of weeks, although it was still another moderate week of sales as far as volume, as far as prices, full asking prices. As a result, for example, Texas steers have now moved $10 a hide in the last 2 weeks. So a good week for the Packers as a group. So as far as the cow hides, a very similar story as to the big Packer hide market. The producers are well sold, limited offers. Some people weren't offering at all. Asking prices anywhere from $3 to $5 to $6 higher than the week before. Those bidding unsolicited stood no chance of getting any kind of counters from producers. And those who were trying to bid lower than asking prices found producers unwilling to counter those bids and insisting on full prices. And like the big Packer market, probably not as many hides sold as the last couple of weeks, but sellers were able to get the prices they were looking for. And at the end of the day, I think between both markets, there is probably more business that wasn't concluded than actual business concluded. As far as the harvest last week, it came in a little bit lower. It was a little surprising because live cattle prices really haven't moved. Box prices are holding in there. Packers are still racking up about $300, $325 a head. But the knock was $624. It was $647 the week before, and it was $660,000 the same week last year. Now, remember, I've been talking about the kills coming up in April. Here in about now 4 weeks' time, that's when COVID started impacting a lot of the packing houses in the United States. That resulted in kill levels going down. Like the very first week it was impacted, it was about 560. Then it went to 520. Then we had 440s, 420s. So we had a period of the third week of April till about the second week of June. There was 1 million less head of cattle harvested last year versus 2019. We're going to go back to those 2019 levels. So there's going to be a lot more hides available for sale coming up in the next the next 2 to 3 months. So keep that in mind. If you're looking to buy hides, maybe you don't have to chase nearly as hard. I think that might kind of cap the enthusiasm we've been seeing on some of these prices out here. Not that I'm advocating we're going to see lower prices, but we may not see these jumps at $3 to $5, which is not healthy for anybody, to be very honest with you. I cheer for the people who are getting the more money. God knows, looking ahead to last year in April, you saw hide prices go to almost record lows. So it's been a little yin and a yang there. Taking a quick peek around the world. Harvest levels in Brazil remain at levels down 30-35%, depending on who you talk to. That's helping the Packers continue to get a little bit more money on the fresh hides. They're more than double what they were towards the end of last year. Wet blue prices seem to be bumping up against the ceiling here, and that's only because they've gotten to a point where they were becoming more expensive than what was being offered in other parts of the world. So efforts to get more money have been meeting a lot of resistance. Now with this push up with other parts of the world, maybe they might be able to get a little bit more for those blue hides, but right now we're going to call that market absolutely steady. Going into Europe, their prices had been pretty lofty, but with, again, the movement in prices around the globe, people are starting to talk about getting, anywhere from maybe, 3 to 5 cents more per kilo on some of their offers last week. Volumes haven't been huge, but they continue to move. The thing to keep an eye on is an announcement by Italy that they're going into the third round of restrictions. So that, we'll have to keep an eye on that to see if that kind of tempers some enthusiasm from buyers there. But very firm market in Europe as well. And down in Australia, the low harvest levels continue. Producers are well sold. That's allowing them to tack on additional price increases. They're mirroring some of the increases we're seeing in the States of $2-3 a hide. So they continue to be well sold. And if you're going to buy hides there, it's not your option to negotiate any of the prices. One thing that we skipped over, back to the U.S. side here real quick, and sorry for circling the wagon, is the export report. And last week it was pretty doggone good from a sales standpoint. A record, I should say, marketing year high on wet salted sales. That eclipses last week's marketing year high. 558,000, pretty strong number. Shipments on wet salted hides were slightly lower. We've been hearing some complaints that shipments have been a little bit more difficult the last week to 10 days, so that makes sense. Wet blue sales were not as glossy as the week prior. They're off by about 50,000 hides from the week prior, coming in at 94,000. And shipments of wet blue were 100,000. So overall sales of 652,000. That is the second largest sales of the year combined. And for total shipments, 464,000. That kind of fits more towards the bottom end of the range for the year. So as far as thoughts for this week, that one, guys, I encourage you to go out to the website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. You'll see a button, request a sample report. Happy to send you a report, give you kind of an idea what it is that I can share with you. If you need to, we can set you up for a free trial. So check it out again, www.themaxfieldreport.com. But that's it for this week. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Until next week, thanks.